The Great Lakes. Nearly 150 years ago, one visitor described them as those grand freshwater seas surrounded by wild barbarians and ancient unending forests, and blasted by gales as dangerous as any that lashed the salted wave. Well, that's sort of a flowery way of saying these lakes are some kind of big, and they sure are. Hi, I'm Winkelman, and thanks so much for joining me on this very special Fishing Secrets video. Hey, and I do mean special, because in this tape, we're going to be talking about some of the biggest and some of the best fishing holes in the world. In fact, the second, fifth, and sixth largest lakes in the world are Lake Superior, Huron, and Erie. The smallest of the Great Lakes, which is Lake Ontario, is 193 miles long by 53 miles across. The largest of the lakes, Lake Superior, boasts of depths over 1,300 feet. And I mean, we're talking big lakes now. Altogether, their coastline stretches some 8,000 miles, encloses a surface area of 95,000 square miles, and holds 6 quadrillion gallons of fresh water, 1/5 of the world's supply and 95% of America's. Hey, and believe me, there's more than a few fish in all that water. As a matter of fact, each year more than 5 million anglers spend over $2 billion on their way to landing well over 100 million pounds of game fish from these awesome lakes. There's certainly no region of North America that's both so beautiful and yet so bountiful. The Great Lakes are, geologically speaking, newborns. They were formed a mere 10,000 years ago when retreating glaciers of the last ice age scoured out huge depressions in the surrounding bedrock and left behind lakes so new and pristine that the water in them was nearly distilled. For centuries, the only human contact was that of the many powerful Indian nations who made their homes and their livelihoods along the shores of these inland seas. In the early 1600s, they were joined by French explorers and trappers who came looking for furs and glory. These were the first white men to set their eyes on the Great Lakes, and the awe they must have felt has been experienced by virtually every visitor since. Over the centuries, the explorers were followed by lumberjacks and farmers, miners and factory hands. The trading posts and communities they established on the fringes of these ancient forests grew in time to great cities such as Chicago, Toronto, Detroit, Cleveland, Milwaukee, and many others. For more than 2 centuries now, the Great Lakes have been many things to many people, and not the least among them a great destination for the sport fishermen. Anglers have been through good times and bad with the lakes and have consistently supported the conservation of its fishery resources. They've been in the forefront of efforts to control pollution, encourage less wasteful commercial fishing techniques, reverse the spread of trash fish and parasites, restore native game fish populations, and introduce new species that will provide quality fishing now and in the future. So what kind of big water bounty can the sportsmen expect to find in these Great Lakes of ours? Well, let's settle back and review some of the more popular species that have made these freshwater giants so fantastically popular. Most prominent are the salmon. The Chinook, or king salmon, are the largest of the West Coast imports that have enriched these waters. They grow to some 45 pounds or more, and they're powerful fighters who will take a variety of live and artificial baits all year round. Coho, or silver salmon, is another Pacific Coast transplant that has found a new home in the Midwest. They can attain weights in the 20-pound range, with 8-pounders being a good average fish. They're usually taken in shallower water than other salmon and are partial to small spoons and plugs, particularly in bright colors. Steelheads are commonly mistaken for salmon, but they're actually ocean-run rainbow trout originally found only on the Pacific coast. They're one of the favorite quarries of surf and river fishermen. Fall is the prime time to catch these guys in select rivers using flies or spawn bags. However, in recent years, special strains such as the Skamania have brought them to the rivers in the summer months as well. The pink or humpback salmon is by far the smallest of this family. Averaging only 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds, they nevertheless offer a great deal of sport on light tackle using either live or artificial baits. Now their cousin, the trout, has always been enormously popular in the lakes, even though only 2 species are actually native here, the lake trout and the brook trout. The brookie, which at one time was nearly eradicated, is now back in very healthy population levels thanks to improved management and stocking. The majestic lake trout, surely one of nature's most beautiful creatures, averages about 6 to 8 pounds, but they're capable of growing to nearly 50. Lakers thrive in cold water and are sometimes caught hundreds of feet deep in the summer. However, in the spring and fall, they're best found in the shallows of the lake where they come in to feed and spawn. Now when it comes to a fighting fish, there's certainly no finer trout than the brown. A good specimen will weigh from 8 to 14 pounds, although there are some monster browns out there that'll hit 25 or 30. However, no matter what they weigh, they always give you a good run for your money. Those are the cold water fish that the lakes are home to. But there are also cool and warm water species that have made themselves much appreciated by the Great Lakes fishermen. Top honors in this category would definitely have to go to the walleye. Not only are they some of the finest eating around, they're also available in abundant numbers. You can find them in all of the Great Lakes, but they're especially populous in Lake Erie, where they've made an incredible comeback from near eradication by pollution and mismanagement. The yellow perch is a close relative of the walleye and is also not only great to eat, they're very numerous and usually easy to catch from either the shore or through the ice. Running a close second in the angler's hit parade is the scrappy smallmouth bass. Now, they rarely weigh in at more than 5 or 6 pounds, but ounce for ounce, you won't find a more able opponent. Your best bet is to locate them in shallower hard-bottom reefs and around islands and points. His cousin, the largemouth bass, is also at home in the warmer Great Lakes bays that are both shallow and offer a good weed cover, plus a variety of the underwater structures that these predator fish are so fond of. Hey, and if that isn't enough, there are also decent populations of crappie, bluegill, white bass, channel catfish, and a whole host of other less popular species that are also frequently caught throughout the Great Lakes. Okay, I promised you we were going to make Great Lakes fishing easy, so what do you say we quit talking and start fishing? For this first segment, we're venturing out into Lake Michigan with charter boat skipper Larry Presnell. Larry's one of the most knowledgeable charter captains I've ever had the pleasure to fish with. He constantly studies new tackle and techniques with an eye to improving the patterns he employs. We'll be chasing king salmon using a tried and true tackle system, the downrigger. Now, contrary to what a lot of you may think, using downriggers doesn't mean the angler gives his brains the day off. On the contrary, we're going to cover some of the many variables you'll need to take into account using this unique depth control system. In fact, the main secret in this segment is how to properly employ downriggers as one part of your overall pattern for Great Lakes salmon. Don't take offense to this, but I mean, in some ways, downrigger fishing is no-brain fishing, you know? You put the bait down, you put it at the depth, and the guy can sit back there and just watch, and when the rod starts to jump around, he grabs it, and he's got a fish on.
Right.
You know, and I think too many people think about it in the sense of no-brain fishing. I don't have to think. I don't have to hunt fish. I don't have to work. And I know it's not like that, Larry. I can see you laughing.
Sure.
But I mean, people believe that it is. The downrigger solves their problem. They can get the magic depth, and here they go.
Right.
There's a lot more to it than that.
It doesn't involve your coordination or feel like with walleyes, that tap on the bottom or a rubber worm rig for bass or something, but it does take a feel and an eye for reading water and understanding the currents and the temperatures and the structure, because the structure can create this boil or a mixing effect along with the winds creating a mix like we just discussed. And you have to be able to not only know those three basics, but now put them together. What's happened in the last few days and where are those fish going to be? We have a major wind change. Maybe those fish are going to move, but I'll bet you not for a day. Mm-hmm. Usually they'll be where they were the day before and subtly move. But a lot of cases that just spreads them out. You've got some here and some there. And those are the days you might have weak fishing, and you've got to count on every ability you have to read to just get a few fish.
Something I found and contended for a long time, salmon are as much structure orientated as any other fish in the world.
Right.
You know, and then guys will argue, no, that's not the case. If you get out here and find the temperature zone that they're at, you know, then you'll catch them. Other than that, it don't count. And I know that they adhere. We found them on rock piles, with drop-offs, depressions, flats, deltas, everything. Just like any other fish, only it's a much bigger body of water. And I don't think people equate how much a salmon travels and does different things in and amongst this area. I mean, like the fish that are on this delta now, they could be a half a mile or 3/4 of a mile from here tomorrow, couldn't they?
Oh, sure. And I think the unique part that I notice in talking to some of the private fishermen that come over and talk to me is that some of them do understand the fact of the structure, but they don't quite know how
to relate it.
And I think the thing to think about is the flow of the water. The temperature can indicate at which depth line they might be on, and your structure will locate perpendicularly along shore if you know what's down there. But unlike a walleye that might relate absolutely to that mound, let's say, salmon will be relating to the upflow in the water and maybe down current from that mound anywhere from 100 feet to 100 yards, even as far as a mile away, depending on how violent that thing is.
So they're still relating to the structure, but they're relating to what the structure is causing in current.
Right.
And consequently we're stacking the food fish up, or whatever's food for the bait fish.
Right, and if you find any kind of a thermocline on your graph, or a little, usually what you'll see is a gray shading effect that might be horizontal or perpendicular, and if you see that along with a good quantity of bait fish on the surface, you can almost count on the fact of having some fish, game fish, down below that are going to be actively feeding there. Hey, fish on!
There you go. As I said, until he decides to again. Well, you can just lay that rod straight out like that, you know? It's like ocean fishing. Now he went sideways on me.
Yeah, he's coming in now.
Yeah.
Getting close. He's only be out there 75, 80 feet.
He really screamed out a couple times.
Come in the corner, and we'll get that fish in that one.
You want to take him right over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
He's taking off again. I'm getting the pattern now, Larry.
Yeah.
It's a matter of going up and down with the waves. When the wave pushes them forward, I crank like crazy.
Nice fish. He doesn't like you.
Well, I don't want to take the chance on losing him.
Yeah, roll it. Let him go. This is straight.
He's straight down
Yep.
and going further straight down. Well, come on already. I was waiting for one of the mother rods to go.
Yeah, I was gonna let you do.
That's a big king.
Ooh, that's a big king.
I'm going to turn his head one time and lift him up, and you get him. Right there, you got him.
Oh God, is that a nice size king?
You like him, huh?
Nice
Good shot
job
with the
on
net.
the rod. Nice job
New
on the
shot.
net. All right.
That's a big king. How much do you think?
I'd say 20. 20 plus.
He's all at 20 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a nice fish. 20 plus was right. In fact, it weighed in at nearly 26 pounds. And boy, aren't they beautiful. You know, I can never decide what I like best about Chinooks, their looks or their taste. So I'll tell you what, a visit to my wife Charlie's kitchen usually helps me make up my mind on that score. In fact, before we go on our next trip, let's see what kind of a salmon dish Charlie's got cooking from her Strictly Fish cookbook.
Today I'm going to prepare a baked salmon loaf, and I'm sure you'll want to add this to your recipe file. So go get a pencil and paper so you can jot this one down. Now here's a list of the ingredients you'll need. 1 pound of flaked salmon, 2 cups of breadcrumbs, 1 cup of warm milk, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 6 eggs with the whites beaten in a separate bowl, and 1 tablespoon of butter. Before you start, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Now add your breadcrumbs, milk, butter, and salt. Next, add your salmon. And stir. Add your egg yolks and your egg whites. And stir until well blended. And now pour it in a baking dish. Now place it in another pan of approximately 2 inches of warm water and bake for about 30 minutes. And there you have it. Fast and easy. Baked salmon loaf.
Hey, that not only tastes great, it even looks great. You know, if you get tired of eating fish the same old way, let me suggest you pick up a copy of this great little book. I'll show you how later on in this tape, but first, let's do some more fishing. Earlier, we were talking about diversity in these lakes. So on this next trip, what do you say we visit an area that's well known for a wide variety of fishing found there? And that's Lake St. Clair, also known as the Sixth Great Lake. Located between Lakes Huron and Lake Erie, what this little lake lacks in size, it certainly makes up for in action. I'll be joining Area Pro Kim Stricker in search of smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, and walleyes. On this particular day, we were especially successful with the smallies, and the main secret here to note is how we used our knowledge of the smallmouth's preference for current to help us locate them. Watch.
You were asking me where the shipping channel was.
Uh-huh.
Turn around, I think you find out.
That's kind of look at the wall of water he's got in front of him.
That's a new style bass boat.
New style bass boat, huh?
We got a fish on. We got a fish on. Good smallmouth. Big smallie.
Giant smallie.
Big smallie.
I'm telling you.
Good smallmouth. I'm telling you.
This is a big fish, whatever it is. I got $1 on a smallmouth too. Look at him, just pound his head.
When that ship went by.
Uh-huh, that's what you said.
That's right.
That's what you said. I haven't seen this fish yet.
Oh, that's a big smallmouth.
Jim, that's
Big
a good...
smallmouth. Wait a second. Get him out of that troll water. Jeez.
What is with this fish going under the boat?
Get him up here. How much pound test you got?
6 is all. But that's okay. I got
if you do this, you do this again, I'm going to put on a Lindy rig, I guarantee you.
Hang on just a second. I had to turn the motor. Ooh, that's a good...
God, that's a nice smallmouth.
That's a good one.
St. Clair special. Get him up, get him up.
I'm trying.
All right.
Oh, man, that fish is over 3 pounds.
That is a beautiful. Oh, man.
That's a nice
St.
fish.
Clair special. Look
Yes,
at
sir.
that.
Look
Look at the color in them.
3.5 pounds. Solid 3, huh? Can you get that out? I don't mean to...
Nice fish.
She's 3.5. Yeah, that one...
3.5 pounds.
Don't throw it back. We'll put them back when we get out of here. I don't want them smallmouth. You throw a good one down like that and it can spook the whole bunch.
Right, we'll put them back in here.
Now, before we get into some more fish, let me briefly explain what we were fishing with and the area we found the smallies holding in. We'd moved up into the St. Clair River and we were fishing one of Kim's favorite spots. This particular underwater point jutted out about 200 feet or so into the main channel and created a current that was so strong our 24-volt trolling motor could hardly make any headway. But that was the reason the bass were holding here, because all sorts of food was washed over the top of this bar and it was a veritable smorgasbord for the smallmouth. So, by using live bait rigs tipped with night crawlers and letting them drift naturally with the current, we found just the right ticket to fool these smallies.
Oh! You got another? You son of a gun.
That's a good fish. Another good fish. Another good fish.
Is this why they call it the Babe Winkelman fishing show? Babe Winkelman
Look
good
at this.
fishing?
Look at
Beauty.
this. Oh, I love
Another
him on
big
white
one?
line. I don't know. I haven't seen him yet. It's another
I'm
smallmouth.
surprised they're not jumping out of the water like crazy.
There you go. Ooh. Boy, they go right by that trolling motor. It's a nice fish. I'm telling you, it's a nice fish. Come on, baby. I don't want to put too much.
Ooh, yeah, nice fish.
I don't want to put too much on him.
Nice. Get him up here. Get him up. Get his head up. All right.
Yeah.
Beauty.
Look at how much lighter that one is.
Geez, that other one was dark, wasn't it?
Yeah. That other one was real.
Look at that color. They're pretty fish.
Just. Well, here, I'll keep us because we're right on that area. Thank you.
See how easy that hook came out?
I got another crawler here. Ouch. Thank you, sir.
Kim and I caught several more nice smallmouth and later released them all. But the day was slipping by and we still hadn't fished for anything else, so we decided to give the largemouths a try. And wouldn't you know it, on Kim's first cast he nailed one. Not a big one, but a largemouth nonetheless. So I figured we were really going to get into some fast action. But you know what? We fished hard for the next couple of hours in a dozen or so areas and managed to catch only 2 more fish. Now, I may be slow, but I'm not stupid. So after determining that the bass fishing wasn't exactly what you'd call fast and furious, we headed for Kim's favorite walleye hole.
So right within darn near the city limits, they've got fishing for 5, 6, 7 different species of fish as well as good bird hunting, huh?
You bet.
That's incredible. Darn few cities, you know, particularly one of the size of Detroit, where you've even ever got that kind of a possibility. Minneapolis is another one. There's tons of lakes right in Minneapolis. Minnetonka's, you'd like. A lot of largemouth, a lot of smallmouth, big walleyes. They've even got a few muskie in there now.
Might be a fish, I don't know. Fish.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
Good
you bet.
shot. Good shot. Maybe that's one of your 8-pounders. I'm going to see where he came from. Okay. Any size to him?
Not bad.
You want me to net him? Probably, huh?
Yeah, but we probably should.
Ouch. Oh, I got a sore elbow.
Put up a...
You want to keep a
piece of
few?
hustle. Sure.
Yeah, we might as well keep a few of these, huh? That looks like a respectable fish.
As long as it don't go by. We're all set.
If it does, I ain't going to net him.
That's a
nice
walleye. Yeah.
Where is he?
Good eating size. All right.
Typical 2-pound one. Boy, they're light colored here, though. Well, that's a start.
You betcha.
Catch a half a dozen or 10 more of those, a guy can
That's a
get
good eating. Gotta get a worm on. I gotta get a worm on.
And we're right back. Oh, this is not much of a fish.
On that
Right back on that point.
the walleye?
Was.
He's out?
No, yeah, there's something still here. That's a walleye. This rod is awful light.
It's not Shamu, I take it.
No, no.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a walleye.
Get him up here, get him up, get him up.
Typical St. Clair walleye, I might add.
Yeah, typical.
About a pound and a half. Yeah, well, good netting job there, sir. Thank you.
What a great little lake. You know, you can't help but be impressed with fishing like that, especially when it's in the shadow of a huge metropolitan area like Detroit. Which, by the way, means there'll be plenty of marinas, tackle shops, boat ramps, motels, and restaurants nearby. It makes for the best of both worlds, good fishing and easy living. Tell you what, let's rejoin my Good Fishing Advisory member Larry Presnell on another outing. This time we're going after early spring brown trout using another terrific system, planer boards. I'll be showing you several secrets for their use in this segment, as well as where, why, and how we found those hard-fighting browns. Take a look. A lot more often than we think, by just driving the boat, we spook fish out to the side of the boat. The noise gets them away. And today I'm with field advisor Larry Presnell out on Lake Michigan, and Larry's going to show you a system that was devised here for catching those fish that we spook off to the side.
That's right, babe, with skis. And as you can see, we use double boards for the rougher water. And there's a bevel on the front edge of the skis to pull it out away from the boat. It's just like if you can picture a water skier pulling on the rope, pulling out to the side of it. And then down this line is slid a release that holds the fishing line at whatever distance away from the boat you have the board set, and it's controlled by however much line you let out from your reel.
Larry, let's set the things up and show them how it works.
Sounds good. Okay, this pole is designed to hold our line that goes to the trolling boards, and then as you can see, just a couple of screw eyes up at the top to give you a guide, and it's approximately 6 feet high. I found that anywhere 4 to 7 feet above the water gives you probably your best pull through the water with the boards. We'll get about 50 to 75 feet of line off this, and usually we'll set 2 rigs off each board, one at the board about 75 feet out, and the other will be set at about, 20 feet inside that rig.
I'll start letting this one go.
Okay? That should be good for that.
All I got to do is keep that line taut and that thing will just start sailing right off to the side by itself. I might mention that the cord that is attached to the skis Larry is letting out there is a 100-pound polyester. You could use a 100-pound monofilament as well, just as long as it's very, very heavy and can stand the strain from those heavy boards. They should be a little shallower early, but that's not necessarily true with brown trout, is it?
In the rock.
It might be midday when they come in the shallowest, when the water's the warmest.
Right, babe. It depends on what their attitude is by what the weather dictates and where the bait fish are for the day.
Larry, here, I got enough line out on this one.
Okay, get the release. As you can see, we set the release, the line in the release, and put it right on the trolling board line, and it will slide out all the way to the board.
And very simply, when the fish hits, it pulls the line free of the release, and you fight him back here where you don't have any lines. Or in some cases, when it's rough, you might want to pull your lines in to fight the fish or save getting tangled. Boy, on these rods with this amount of line out, now every fish you get on feels like a big one.
Yeah. But they are.
Well, they got so much fat on them, you know. They got a lot of power.
Some just nicer than others.
I've got him inside the boards here, Larry.
You're in, okay, good.
Now, I've got him right to the back
then
here.
I think we can get them.
I think we can too, without having to pull them.
Yeah, I loosened that drag too, if you want to snug that down a tad, whatever you feel like there.
Oh, I think this is on the rainbow for a change. Look at him freaked out. Come on, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they have to wait till they get to the boat, and then they get scrappier than heck, wind up in the line, anything they can do to... Of course, I suppose...
Here he is. He's going to be right here. Bingo!
Oh, and she just got free.
Thank God.
Boy, I guess.
Hey, this one was on the rainbow.
A little bit of tension. This is hefty fish. Very
Look at
nice.
how fat it is.
It's no 15-pounder, but he's got a lot more girth to him than the other two had. Come here, you little bit bigger.
Beautiful fish. You know, stream trout fishermen, what would they give for brownies like that?
Oh, they
on a
what
light
we've got
spinning
today
rod?
is a wall hanger for him on a stream trout basis.
Oh,
sure.
yes.
This thing on a fly rod, a little 4 or 5 weight, just be fantastic.
Little pork chop. Every one of them are little
He
piggies.
is so feisty.
Now that was on the rainbow. That was not on the
Oh, we finally got a
Yes.
change in color, huh?
finally. Well, this one's close enough. It's got,
yeah.
the chartreuses and the oranges in there.
Sure.
That rainbow shadling, I have caught more species of fish on that one color and that one crankbait than any other single crankbait I've ever used. That's a fact, and it really don't make much difference what the species is. If I had to use one color of fuzzy grub for walleyes, in a question, it'd be chartreuse.
Absolutely.
If I had, now on the other hand, if a guy was going to fish plastic worms, that wouldn't be the case.
No, but you're talking a whole different presentation there.
But if it was crankbaits, the rainbow, without question, would be my bait.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Fat little brown. Fat little brown.
Ah, he's in the net.
Ah, yes,
Gotcha.
sir. Yes, sir. On that same bait again.
Yeah, when they pick a color and a bait, it is theirs for sure. That is a nice fish.
Yes, sir.
It is
Chunky
beautiful.
little brown. Every one of these Michigan browns are so fat and so pretty. But you know that one that I lost earlier could have swallowed this thing. I mean, it was huge. Here, put that.
Yeah, we'll get him in the live well.
Baked brown trout with a little wild rice dressing.
I think that sounds real good.
It is. It's delicious.
Those planer boards can be a bit of a hassle, but I think you'll agree they're definitely worth it. And that's especially true if you're using them while sharing a boat with a hard-working fishing buddy like Larry Presnell. Okay, for this last segment, we're going to get out of the boat and into the waders for some fantastic surf fishing. Yeah, you heard me right. They've got surf on these inland seas, and if you know the patterns, you can do some exciting fishing in them. Join me as I join charter boat captain Skip Stafford in Frankfort, Michigan, and his good friend George Ritchie for a day of salmon fishing from the beach. Anglers in the know have found this style of fishing to be both fun and productive, and the secrets we'll be sharing in this piece will definitely put you in the know. See for yourself.
Skip, how'd you first get on this pattern?
Well, I've got a good friend that lives up here, George Ritchie, who was a guide up here for a long time, and he turned me on to it quite some time ago.
What are the key ingredients?
Well, you're going to want to use 2 rods. We'll probably set a spawn sack out with one, as I showed you earlier down there with the sand spike. And the other rod you'll want to work with various spoons. This happens to be a Finsel spoon here. Any of your heavier spoons for surf casting or pier work will do fine.
So spinners too?
Yeah, the Arctic spinner seems to be pretty good. Any of that sort of thing with the weighted spinners, you have to have a little weight to get it out there past the first
You
drop.
gotta have weight to throw it against this wind.
That's for sure too. Whoop, I might have just crossed you there.
I think the thing that's nice about it is they get, just the right kind of a rod like this, a good surf rod and a reel, and a pair of waders, and about anything heavy enough to throw against the wind. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, they're in business then, Dave. Want to have a little longer handle, a steelhead rod, than they're used to, so they can get the whip on there.
Well, that, and these are 8.5-foot rods, so you can get some distance out there. Because you got to get out. You don't want to stand too deep on a day like this, or the waves will get you. I want to put my glasses. Skip, what would be the ideal day out here? What would be ideal conditions? I mean, just to be out here in this kind of a beautiful setting, catching big fish is ideal, but
I was going to say, it doesn't get a whole lot better.
I got another one up the face.
It doesn't get a whole lot better, babe. We could use a little bit quieter surf. A little bit. It stirs the bottom up pretty good like this, and I believe it affects the visual aspect of the fishing, plus they don't like to open their gills.
So if you had half the waves that we got right now, our fishing would be better.
If it can get better, yes, it would.
That ain't been too bad. How many places, how many areas in Michigan do they have this kind of surf fishing?
Well, anywhere that they have a big plant, a lot of people don't realize it. As you see today, it works great on king.
Is that a fish? Nope. Exciting hookup.
Until just recently, everybody thought that it only worked with coho, but it works great with king, and they do it on the southern end of the lake, all up and down for brown. That's more in the spring of the year, though, babe.
When does the fishing really get started up here? When does it get good?
Oh, it starts out about first week in September. She gets rolling. It should be peaked out about now, babe. About anywhere from the 20th of September till into October.
Okay, and that's only the coho, or was that one fish that we got earlier here today was the king?
Yeah, that's a fact. You'll have some kings coming in. Of course, the kings come in first, as you know, and then the coho follow them up. And there's such a heavy plant of coho up here that's why you can do it with surfing and river and out in the lake and casting from the boat, all the methods.
Well, Skip, I understand why, but you might explain, for the audience out there, why a mouth of a river? What's going on with these salmon this time of the year?
Well, they're planted, babe, as you know, in the river, and then when they return to spawn when they're adults in either a 3 or 4 year cycle, well, then they're going to stage out here in front and then run back up that river where they were planted.
Now, with the king salmon, they go up to the river and spawn and die, correct?
That's
correct. So how about the coho?
Same way with the coho.
Same thing with the coho, but the steelhead and the brown, that's not the case, is it?
Certainly isn't. Certainly isn't.
They run up the river and spawn and then return back out into the Great Lakes.
That's exactly right, babe. Hey, babe, George has got one over there.
Another one? There you go. Good shot, George. Oh, hang on to him. That one doesn't want to come to the bank, man. You gonna be able to get across that river? You might back up over here, George, and leave some line unless he's coming in. Okay. Skip, you want to give us a hand here? He's got a big fish on. Need any more help with him? Okay, well let me know, because I'm going to go make a couple more casts. I'm going to bet he's got a big king on there. Hey, he's an old pro, Skipper.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a lot of line out yet, though. That's what I was telling you before. That's got to be a big king, Dave.
He has a giant fish on. He's been reefing on that sucker for 5 minutes already, and I haven't even begun to see him. He gets a little bit closer, I'm going to give him a hand with it.
He's going to need it. Now, that's another thing, too. You don't even need a net out here. Ask us. We just take him right up on the beach.
As long as your elbow holds up, which mine ain't doing real good.
I think I might have crossed you again here,
First thing he's got to do, though, is get that puppy to the beach. If that's a coho, he's got the world record.
Yeah,
but it ain't a coho, it's a king.
That's a king, yeah.
You know it's a king.
Yeah, the run that he took off with, and he's got another run left yet. I don't think George is going to bring him all the way to the beach.
How's your arm doing, George? I believe you. Ooh. Is that your fish right there?
Oh boy, he's coming up now.
I know it here.
There's his dorsal. Oh, nice fish. Look at that fin come out.
Big silver king. Big silver king.
Hey.
Big silver king.
Hey, that's a baby.
I got him. I thought I was going for a swim there on top of him.
He's still nice and bright.
Boy, that's a big fish, and this one just as silver as can be.
Well, we can attest to that. We lost that one on was 4 pound.
Ooh, good fish. Good fish.
Hey, now you're making him mad.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he's got to come back here.
George.
That fish is a country mile out there.
You got to bring him back someday.
Whoa!
Oh,
well, he is heading for the wild blue yonder, man.
Looks like you got a pretty good scrapper, though.
I can pump him. I can work him. I'll get him back here.
Coho or king, babe?
I think it's another coho. I know it would almost seem like a king. Well, he has screamed out drag.
I saw him taken out. Of course, those coho are awful nice fighters right now.
Come on, baby. Watch those spikes. We don't want to give her a chance to get even close to those spikes. I don't know yet if it's a coho or a king or what it is. It's a strong whatever. I'll tell you that. Oh man, these things fight. You know, and this is different than out in a boat. In a boat, you can run them down, you can do a lot of things. Out here, I mean, you're at the mercy of your equipment, the elements, and how long your arm can hold out.
Right.
Which ain't bad, but
took a ton of that line out, babe.
Oh, he's been screaming out there. There he is.
There he is.
It's a big king.
There he is.
Oh, it's a big king. Do you see that?
He doesn't put his dorsal
There he goes again.
Screaming out.
Listen, look at this. Oh, this is a big king. Come on, slow down here a little bit. I don't want to put too much tension on him. We've had problems pulling up. Oh boy, that's a look at that fish out there. Man, I'm getting a cramp in my arm. He's headed for the other rods again.
Watch out, going over.
Get those rods out of there. Just take them out. Thank you. Might as well get that other one out of there too.
We're gonna.
It's getting that time we got to go home anyway. Oh, look at this one, guys. Oh, love it. Oh, this is a beauty.
Hard to control him.
It's a big silver king. Cow skipper, here she is.
Look at that dorsal fin on him.
Yeah, I seen it.
Oh, going again.
Yeah, I know it.
My gosh.
It's hard to fight him in this wind. Boy, that's a big
Oh,
fish.
isn't that nice, babe? Oh, look at that baby. I'm going to get around on the other side of you and let's see if you can bring him this way.
Boy, they get their big bodies broadside in this, and it's hard to even...
Look at that pole.
I'm going to just...
You going to work him that way?
I'm going to try.
All right. I'll try to stay on the back side of you.
Can you tail him? Whoa! Look out, the river is there. Here, I'll bring him. I'll beat you.
Let's go that way with him if you
I'm
can.
going to try.
He's
But you
hooked
tie
on
onto one of these things, you go whichever way they
Well,
go.
I understand.
Oh, I about went into the river there. Woo-hoo.
He's hooked on the port side of his mouth, so he's going to want to keep turning this way.
I know that. I'll get him.
You going to tail him?
I'm going to try. Come here, you big brute. This fish is so strong, it's incredible. There we go.
All
You thought you were
right.
going to slide by me that time, huh?
That's the way to do it.
Boy, I didn't know who was going to win this battle. That big brute for me. Skip, this is some kind of an incredible pattern, man. I want to thank you, but most of all, I guarantee you, the viewers are going to thank you. This is the kind of a fishery people can come and just plain have a blast at.
Have a good time.
It's
Have a good
incredible.
time.
Oh.
Now that was a blast. You know, there's just something about the feeling of hauling in a big salmon through the surf that's hard to describe unless you've experienced it for yourself. And I definitely recommend you give it a try, because if you're like me, you never quit learning new ways to enjoy fishing. You know, here at Babe Winkelman Productions, teaching America to fish is our motto. We take that seriously, and to that end, we've developed a complete line of educational aids that are both entertaining and practical. Take a look.
In addition to the Fishing Secrets video collection, Babe has produced 18 tapes in his highly praised Facts of Fishing library. In each tape, Babe couples exciting action with hard-hitting facts and detailed diagrams. If you want to learn all you can about catching your favorite fish, or just want to be entertained, the Facts of Fishing library has it all. Babe is also the author of 6 books in his comprehensive guide series. Titles include Walleye Patterns, considered by many to be the Bible of modern walleye fishing technique. If you fish walleye, this is one book you won't want to be caught without. Then there's Fishing Canada, the angler's roadmap that unlocks the mysteries of the vast Canadian wilderness. This book reveals Babe's secrets for taking trophy Canadian fish, no matter what species you're after. And then there's Largemouth Bass, the book that delves into Babe's finely honed technique for catching America's favorite fish. From border to border, coast to coast, this is the book that has it all. And then there's Jig and Live Bait Fishing Secrets, in which the basic fundamentals of jig fishing and live bait rigging are covered in Babe's easy-to-understand style. And then there's Babe's comprehensive guide to fish locators. If you're thinking of buying one of these sophisticated fishing sonars, or aren't getting enough out of the ones you already have, you can't afford to be without this book. And finally, the Strictly Fish Cookbook, the one everyone's been talking about. Babe and his lovely wife Charlie have combined talents to put together these terrific fish recipes and more. It covers everything from field care to table fare. And don't forget Babe's Good Fishing audio cassette series, hailed as one of the finest educational tools for anglers of all skill levels. These tapes contain Babe's secrets for catching all of America's favorite game fish. And to see what you've been missing, pick up a pair of his fisherman's favorite polarized sunglasses. Like everything else Babe puts his name on, these are the best there are. With ground and polished glass lenses, side shields, matte finished frames, and their own lanyard and protective floating case. Why, you'll wonder how you ever fished without them. And you can be a part of Babe's Good Fishing research team with official jackets, hats, shirts, patches, and decals. For a free catalog, simply write Babe, Post Office Box 407, Brainerd, Minnesota 56401. That's Babe, Post Office Box 407, Brainerd, Minnesota 56401. Babe's complete line of educational products are available in leading sporting goods stores across the United States and Canada. And remember to watch Babe's Good Fishing TV series, the most exciting and informative fishing show ever filmed. And you can count on Babe Winkelman Productions to continue to be the leader in educational fishing products, because after all, we're the people who are teaching America to fish.
A big water bounty. You know, there's no doubt that these lakes definitely offer that. And if you study and practice the patterns we've gone over in this tape, you'll find that Great Lakes fishing can be made easy. So don't let their size and complexity keep you from enjoying a whole lot of first-rate fishing. And who knows, the guy bobbing up and down in the boat next to you just could be me. And until then, hey, good fishing.